Buffalo Bills billionaire heiress Jessica Pegula gives special Josh Allen mention ahead of Broncos playoff game. World number 6 Jessica Pegula is gearing up to play her first-round match of the Australian Open against Anastasia Zakharova at John Cain Arena on Monday. In preparation for the first Grand Slam of the year, Pegula decided to withdraw from the Adelaide International, where she had reached the finals last year after her semi-final loss to Marta Kostyuk in the Brisbane International. Ahead of the opening round match, Pegula addresses the media at a press conference, where she answered multiple tennis-related questions and one non-tennis-related question. A journalist asked the future billionaire heiress of the Buffalo Bills whether she was excited for the Bills vs Broncos playoff match on Saturday night EST. Responding to the same, Pegula first asked at what time the game would be telecast live in Melbourne, and then went on to exclaim that, although the team was a little beat up during the postseason, they had played an exceptional wild-card game against the Jaguars on Sunday. Furthermore, she showered praise on Bills star quarterback Josh Allen for pulling up a strong performance all season long. 8:30, that's not too bad. When I was in Brisbane, I think it was after I lost, right? I woke up at like 4:45 a.m., so 8:30 is definitely not as early as that, but yeah, I'm excited to watch the game, said Pegula. I mean, I love how it's always on TV here, so it's easy to watch, but I'm nervous, you know. We'll see how it goes. I feel like we're a little banged up, but I think everyone kind of is at this point in the playoffs, so we'll see, she added. But you know, I think Josh Allen is just incredible. He played unbelievably last game, and I think he's just, if not one of the best players in the league right now, so I think when we have him, we're always going to give ourselves a good shot, so hopefully we get the win, Pegula concluded. Jessica Pegula elaborated on her experience in Brisbane and why she withdrew from Adelaide. While announcing her withdrawal from the Adelaide International, Pegula justified her decision, saying she didn't want to aggravate any underlying injuries and wanted to focus solely on training for the Australian Open. Previously in Brisbane, the American was twice spotted with a heavily taped left thigh during practice sessions, but ultimately won her matches later in those days. In the same press conference, she discussed why she withdrew from the Adelaide event and how she used that time to prepare for the first Grand Slam of the year. Yeah, I just had a bit of a change of schedule, just the way that it kind of panned out. I kind of went to Brisbane, not really 100%, but it was kind of one of those things where I felt like I needed to kind of play my way into getting over some of those little nagging things and just see how my body kind of dealt with everything, said Pegula. I obviously have good memories there making the finals last time, so that was a bit of a bummer because I do like playing there, but at the same time I think just giving myself some time to actually recover and make sure nothing else pops up, so that's kind of what I've been doing this week and been able to get a lot of really good practice in, and yes, so far so good, she concluded. The former US Open and WTA Finals finalist will be aiming to start her quest at Melbourne Park with a dominant win against Zakharova. When legacy meets the moment. Jessica Pegula, Josh Allen, and a night that belongs to Buffalo. In Buffalo, football is not merely a game. It is weathered faith stitched into parkas, it is breath steaming in unison on winter nights, it is a city's heartbeat thudding through concrete and snow. And on the eve of a playoff clash against the Denver Broncos, that heartbeat found an unexpected narrator in Jessica Pegula, the billionaire heiress whose name is etched into the Bills' present and future, and whose words carried special weight when she spoke of Josh Allen. Pegula does not need to speak to be noticed. Her family owns the team, her presence is legacy. Yet when she does speak, especially about the quarterback who has come to embody Buffalo's modern resurgence, the city listens in a different way. This was not an owner's daughter issuing a routine show of confidence. This was something warmer, more intimate, and unmistakably human. Josh, she said, with the ease of someone speaking about a friend rather than a franchise cornerstone, understands what it means to play here. That single sentence traveled far beyond a press room or social feed. It landed in kitchens where fans argued over formations, in bars where blue lights glowed against frosted windows, and in the locker room itself, where players understand better than anyone the difference between expectation and belief. Josh Allen has always been an unlikely hero. Drafted with questions, armed with a cannon but raw edges, he arrived in Buffalo carrying skepticism on his shoulders. He stayed long enough to turn doubt into devotion. Pegula's mention of him ahead of the Broncos' playoff game was not about statistics or accolades. It was about trust. About a shared understanding between a city, its team, and the man tasked with leading both into January. Jessica Pegula knows pressure, though hers wears a different uniform. As a successful tennis professional in her own right, she understands what it means to perform when eyes are fixed and margins are thin. That perspective gives her words a credibility that cannot be bought, inherited, or spun. When she praised Allen's composure, his willingness to shoulder responsibility, it came not from a boardroom vantage point, but from the lived reality of competition. Ahead of the Broncos game, Buffalo stood at a familiar crossroads. The playoffs always arrive with hope sharpened by memory. The city remembers wide right. It remembers heartbreak disguised as destiny. It also remembers the way Allen has rewritten narratives, stiff-arming doubt as easily as defenders. Pegula's words acknowledged that history without being trapped by it. "There's a calm with him," she said, "even when the stakes are loud." That calm matters against a Broncos team built on disruption and resilience. Denver does not arrive quietly. They bring a defense that thrives on chaos, an offense that believes in timing and patience. Playoff football compresses time, turning seconds into seasons. In those moments, leadership is not about shouting louder. It is about standing taller. Pegula's mention of Allen became a mirror, reflecting what Buffalo already feels but rarely articulates. This quarterback is not simply talented. He is aligned with the city's emotional rhythm. He plays like winter feels, harsh, honest, unyielding. He makes mistakes publicly and amends them immediately. He runs when it hurts and throws when it risks everything. For a billionaire heiress, someone whose life could easily orbit far from the frozen banks of Lake Erie, Pegula's connection to that rhythm is striking. It suggests stewardship rather than ownership, belonging rather than distance. Her acknowledgement of Allen was, in its own way, a promise. A reminder that this era of Bills football is not accidental. It is cultivated, protected, and believed in from the top down. In the locker room, players heard her words and nodded. They know Allen's voice in the huddle, the way it cuts through noise. They know the way he absorbs blame and deflects praise. Pegula's public trust echoed the private one already established.